Hello, my beautiful earth signs, and welcome to your Virgo full moon reading on March 9th, 2020, which also means it's the end of Mercury retrograde. If you haven't watched my intro video for this full moon and everything it means, as well as in the cosmos, my astrological review, archetypical review, and knowledge and wisdom, go check that out before and then come back here. This is relevant for your sun, your moon, your rising, and your north node signs. So hello, welcome earthly people, welcome earthly signs. I'm so glad you're here. If you want individual sign readings for my Virgos, my Tauruses, and my Capricorns, you got to go to Vimeo, or you have to be one of my clients to get that. So if you're not one of my clients, if we haven't worked together before, then you just have to donate whatever amount you want. Buy me a coffee, buy me a lunch, buy me a cookie, and you will get access to all of the extended videos for the rest of the year, including the ones that already happened, so that you can go and review and understand your past, your present, and your future. Oh, yes. Okay, so let's just get into it. The first question I'm asking the cards today, the oracle today for this Virgo full moon, and this is relevant as a collective for everybody watching this video. If you're watching this, this is for you. Trust the divine order of things. The first question is, what is being illuminated about your service? The Virgo is all about being of service, selflessly of service. And what is being illuminated by the moon about your service? And I'm going to read one of my archetype cards. Look at how gorgeous these are. And they look like the moon. They're circular. I absolutely love the concept of circular cards. Gonna need to make some circular cards myself. And oh my gosh, of course this card came out. I mean, hello. Woo! Okay. So we've got the Bardo. Look at that. It looks like an eye with skulls all over it. I mean, that's a pretty intense image right there. It's a pretty intense image, pretty deep threshold. It's like, what is being illuminated about your service, earth signs, is that there's something that you're not willing to see because you actually feel like it'll be the death of you, right? What are you avoiding? What are you not looking at? And I feel like it has to do with like your health and wellness, the well-being of your family. Like, have you been going to therapy? Have you been getting the support you need? Are you actually supported the way you need to be? So what this is telling me is like there's all of these skulls, right? And skulls and bones give us a history of a person and how they lived, right? And the structure with which they built their life. So in order to be deeply of service, you have to have a really strong structure and foundation, and you have to have a vision of what it is that you're creating. So I feel like there's something missing in your foundation, and you got to take care of it, earth signs, because if you don't, then you can't keep giving, right? The cup will empty and you will burn out, and then you'll be angry, and it'll feel like the death of an idea, the death of this like love of yours, right? And maybe you've been really, really hard on yourself for not having that foundation so far. That's okay. Forgive yourself. Be merciful, right? With that Virgo mercy, something to learn with Virgo. I'm going to stop playing with my hair right about now. And just be merciful with yourself and put it into practice, right? This could even be like, maybe you really want a relationship because you know a relationship fulfills you so deeply, but that then you can create and be of service even more. And you're allowed to have that. And you get to heal and you get to open your heart again. So I'm going to read about the Bardo and what else it's going to tell me about what is being illuminated about your service. Okay. The liminal, the in-between, the transition. It is said that the Bardo is a place between this life and the next, a liminal realm through which souls pass. Envisioning this inherently mysterious space creates the potential for us to rise above the concerns of this world and see our relationship through a cosmic and timeless lens. The Bardo is not to be feared. Take advantage of its energy by recognizing what needs to be resolved. Trust that there is a message for you from beyond. Who is speaking? Go ahead and listen. Spaciousness, grace, forgiveness, truth. Otherwise, you feel torment, isolation, hallucination, transience. So there's this real sense and this real need, earth signs, to deeply, deeply listen to yourself, to your own guidance, and that you're in this space between. You're in this space between being even able to be of your highest service, and you have to trust your inner voice that you will be guided there, right? You will be shown the path and the way forward, but you have to let yourself be in that transition. You have to allow that transition and be graceful and merciful with yourself in that transition. So next question is, what are you self-sacrificing rather than self-loving? Like, where are you giving of yourself to the point where it drains you compared to giving of yourself to the point that it uplifts you and gives you energy, right? So you could be loving yourself, but instead you're sacrificing yourself. So what is happening? Where is this happening? Let's get clear with some animal cards. Okay. So I got pig spirit, which is use your mind wisely, right? So pigs are incredibly intelligent. And I immediately think of like bringing home the bacon. So there's this sense of like you're sacrificing yourself in what you do for money. You're sacrificing yourself in what you do for work. And it's like, it's exhausting you. It's exhausting your mind to not have it figured out, to not have it clear, to not have it be like really, really like in that Virgo sense, like organized and put in place, right? So it's exhausting you to have this money burden, to even maybe be in a transition of like not feeling stable to being in that liminal space, maybe not having like a stable, secure home or investments or job or career path forward, right? And this little pig has little wings on it. So there's this real need to use your mind wisely so you can fly into the direction of your greatest dreams, right? So how can you use your money? How can you use your time? How can you use your mental capacities and facilities wisely so that they support your service, so that they're an act of self-love? Like, what would be a job or a career that's self-loving? What would be a way to spend your money that's self-loving? What would be a way to manage your money that's self-loving? What would be a way to spend time with your mind that's self-loving? What job would be kind to your mind? What job would be kind to your intellect? What would still be stimulating but also loving, right? You don't need to self-sacrifice. Your mind is not a servant, right? It's an incredible tool, and it's also a practice of self-love to use it as such. Yeah, it's like almost like don't be a pig. This sounds so strange, but don't be a pig around what you put out there, like what you force your mind to do in exchange for what you feel is stability, right? Like you will be so much more nourished if you let your mind freely be, if you let your mind freely explore and be curious. So the second question is, what are you starving for? You need this nurturance. You need this mother's milk. What are you absolutely starving for? Like in that orphan card that I talked about in the general reading, in that general messages. What are you starving for? Let's see what the tarot has to tell us, earth signs. You're hungry. My earth signs, you got to ground, you got to nourish, you got to feel nourished. All right, so what you're starving for, we've got the Five of Swords in reverse. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, and we've got the Three of Swords, and we've also got the Two of Swords. All right, so this is a pretty interesting, it's a lot of swords, y'all. Like this means like what you're starving for is mental rest, mental recuperation, like not having fears, not having anxieties, not having, like, it's just like you're literally starving for mental peace and tranquility. You need to integrate. You need to meditate. You need some peace and quiet in your day, right? Like an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes just to yourself. And I really feel like letting go of your subconscious conditioning, that's what you're starving for, right? Because it's breaking your heart to not have that peace and that grace within you, not to give yourself that grace. And one of my favorite practices to do this is to do morning pages in the morning. Just let my subconscious run wild and free. Write out 3 pages in the morning of what I'm thinking about and just let it go. And honestly, my mental chatter, that monkey mind, that negative mind is far less present. It's not even present when I do that. So there's this real like internal conflict. You're starving for internal peace. You're starving for a change of time. You want a new phase to come around in your emotional health and your psychological health, right? And it's really time for that conflict to end. Like you just need internal conflict to end, and you need conflict with others to end too, because this is my sign of heartbreak, right? The Three of Swords means you want your previous thoughts about love, about marriage, around relationships, around betrayal and hurt to be gone so that you can open your heart and love again, right? We all, like, especially those of us that are so loving and open and like committed and in relationships of service with other people, especially romantic relationships, we can be so hurt and we don't even realize the hurt that it leaves us. I just realized how deeply I had a wound from other women, that they would betray me and they would try to, like be really inappropriate with the men that I was dating or seeing, or that, my boyfriend would cheat on me with one of my friends, or that, it's like, it's this deep betrayal that I felt in the collective because I had those experiences when I was in junior high and high school. And it's just such a deep sense of like distrust was in there, and I'm letting that go because I also have earth sign energy, right? I'm letting that heartbreak go. I'm releasing that. I'm being merciful with myself and with the past, with people in the past that have hurt me, right? Forgiveness is your path. Grace is your path with yourself and with others. That is what's going to turn this wheel. That is what's going to take you from starving to deeply nourished. Oh, my earth signs. This is such an intense reading. Please go check out your individual readings on Vimeo. If you're one of my clients or my really good friends, I will send it to you in an email. If not, just donate whatever you want in the link below, and I will send it to you for the rest of the year, for the whole psychological, astrological year. All right. Number 4, what is the deepest gift you could imagine giving the world? The deepest gift, 1111 I just saw. What is the deepest gift you could imagine giving the world? And I am going to pull a Rebecca Campbell Starseed Tarot card, Oracle card for this, because I just got this deck, and it's all about your destiny work and being a starseed and what we're here for. So if you're watching this channel, you probably know what that's all about. So let's see what your deepest, and that popped right out, what your deepest gift is. It's breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Ooh, so there's this real sense that like your deepest gift, I'm going to actually pull an additional card. Okay. I pulled the Tower card. Okay. So it's like my will is to thy will. So your deepest gift to the world is honestly revolution. It's honestly changing up entire industries, entire communities, entire ways of thinking. Like you're building those new foundations, right? As earthly foundations, as new earth is anchored in, as our new grid is anchored in, as our new life is anchored in the age of Aquarius, in this new 12-year cycle, in this new cycle of life. You are breaking down the walls. You know how to create innovation, disruption. That is your greatest gift. You are here to disrupt in a loving way, in a merciful way, in the way that is creative and loving. And your will be divine will be for the greatest good of all. It's the age of Aquarius, so what's best for everyone is what's best for you. But you can't micromanage the cosmos. You can't force things to happen. Force is a way of trying to do things outside of divine timing, outside of natural cycles and rhythms. There are still universal laws. Go look them up. You can Google universal laws. There are still divine ways that cycles happen on this earth and on this planet, even with like new light and new codes and new grids activating in, right? Whatever you want to call it, there's still beautiful universal laws to the universe and cycles and rhythms that women go through, that the earth goes through, and you have to pay attention to those. You can't micromanage, you can't stronghold, you can't strong arm, you can't control things. So you have to understand that your greatest gift is being able to impart change, but not forcing change to happen. Allowing it to happen, allowing it to unfold, and knowing exactly when it's the right time for you to act and for you to take action, right? That's so beautiful. And it's also like there's a cosmic connection. So you connecting to the stars, connecting to the cosmos, connecting to your astrology will help you understand what specifically you're there to do. Look at your North Node, look at your Midhaven, your MC point, have a reading with me, understand what this great orchestration is asking from you and what you also asked to do in this lifetime. All right. So last question, what are you offering and receiving for yourself next? What are you offering in divine service, and what are you receiving in divine service back? I'm going to pull a tarot card for this one. What are you offering and receiving next? All right. And I've got the Four of Wands. So again, partnerships, unions, celebration, weddings, marriages. This doesn't have to be like a wedding and a marriage, but it's like beautiful commitment, love. You get to receive love, commitment, joy from your work, from relationships, right? You have to understand that you're allowed to have that. You're allowed to have joy and romance and sex and all the fun, and also create this beautiful cosmic disruption that you're here to do as your destiny path. You get to have it all. It gets to be beautiful. You don't have to do it alone. You get to do it while having an orgasm. How about that? Ooh, my earth signs, this has been such a powerful reading. Please go check out your individual readings, and I will see you on the other videos and in 2 weeks for that Aries, new moon, and spring equinox reading. Sending you all my love. Bye.